We're up at dawn in Portomarin's main square, with the statue of St. James pointing pilgrims in the right direction, always westward towards Santiago. Portomarin is built on a hill, so the route out of town takes us down to the river and across. Just like that, asphalt gives way to a soft forest path and a return to beautiful isolation, where pilgrims fall into a familiar routine.
Normally stand up about 7 and we start walking at 9 up until 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Others adopt the no routine at all method.
I just wake up, I see how I feel. If I feel good, I carry on walking. I just stop whenever I feel like it, yeah.
The truly ambitious can make 40 kilometers in a day, but most pilgrims do between 15 and 20. To some extent, your mileage depends on your shoes, and there's definitely a love-hate relationship here. You choose them so carefully, and you trust they'll take you across every surface you find, but you can't wait to take them off at every given opportunity. It makes sense then that when they finally give out, you don't throw them out. You leave them in a place of honor, reminding all who follow of their faithful service. When the day's walking is over, it's time to figure out where you're going to spend the night. Most pilgrims choose albergues, the Camino's version of hostels. They're cheap, usually about 10 euros a night, but they come with lots of company and lots of rules.
You have to be home by 10 or 10:30 in the evening. Lights are out at 10:30. People get up very early at 5 o'clock. And also many albergues you can't reserve.
Today I'm visiting an albergue that was so much more than just a place to stay for my friend Robert. He remembers Casa Garcia as the place that took him in when he couldn't go another step.
Last year I was walking the Camino in November. It was actually November 2nd. And I left Portomarin in just a complete downpour, the most rain I've ever seen fall ever in my life. And I'd made it 8 kilometers here to Gonzaga, and I pulled into town and I walked up to Casa Garcia, and I didn't realize it had been closed for the season, and the door was locked, so I knocked on the door, and the woman who opened the door looked at me and actually took her breath away, stepped back, because apparently I looked so like a drowned rat. So she reached inside and grabbed me, or reached outside, excuse me, grabbed me, and pulled me through the door and helped me with get off my pack and my wet jacket. And went up and made a room up for me, even though they had closed the place down for the season, and fed me that night. And in the morning she gave me a big hug and sent me on my way.
It's in our nature to help, each other. You never know when you're abroad or when you're somewhere else or when you go on holiday. You never know what can happen to you, and it's a bit of karma, when you do good, at the end of the day you also receive it.
It's a point of pride for Spaniards along the Camino to make sure every pilgrim has a safe place to stay every night of their journey. When the albergues are full, they'll open just about anything with room.
We slept in a basketball stadium and there was maybe 35, 40 people sleeping on mattresses, on like a sport mattress. And yeah, it was fine, but it's just, people snore and you can't help it.
Another option for overnight accommodations, but only if you have the nicest sponsor in the world, is this place, Rectoral del Estado. It is a modified rectory that now serves as a bed and breakfast. Not a lot of pilgrims, not a lot of activity, but the neat part is you get to have dinner with a real Spanish family. So we'll be ready for another 25 kilometers on the road tomorrow. Until then, buen camino.